You know, every day I come out with a new video, but the reality is some videos get me more jazzed than others. And today I actually get to talk about how to make more money with less time. And there's a science to this, and I've never made a video about this before on my YouTube channel, so I'm excited to reveal for you and really show you the science of how to go from $10 an hour to $50 an hour to $500 an hour to $5,000 an hour to $50,000 an hour. I'm gonna be showing it all to you up next.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
Dude, check it out. I'm so excited for this conversation because making money is a game. And today I'm gonna show you some of the rules of how you can shortcut the game. You know, I think I used to become an entrepreneur because I didn't want someone else to control my life, but that wasn't actually the secret of wealth. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that are more trapped, spending more time and making less money. I wanna actually share with you the simple math that might surprise you today for how you can actually grow to making $10,000 an hour. Because by the way, I think we can all agree that $10 an hour is kind of like entry level, and then $50 an hour is the next level. But when you start making hundreds or thousands of dollars an hour, that's when you can start commanding a much better lifestyle. And here's what that money really means. It's not about being rich. It's about leveraging your time so that you have way more time. The ultimate currency that you're after is time. A day will come where no matter how much money you've made, if you could trade it all to have more time, you would. So we're gonna talk about how to raise your standards and how to have more of the time that you want. So take a walk with me. I wanna just share with you just a couple of life stories here to kind of help you understand a little of my journey and how this helped me figure things out. So when I was young, the first real legitimate job that I had after I got caught selling drugs was a paper route. I should probably explain that. It wasn't really drugs. I had raided my mom's pantry. I had gotten my hands on sugar and flavored it, put it in little baggies, you know, kilo bag, half kilo bag, started selling this stuff. By lunch, I made like 40 something dollars, and then the principal caught me, and then she thought it was drugs, and then I got busted, and she took my sugar away. But the reality is all the money I made was pure profit because I didn't have to pay for any of the goods. It just came out of my mom's pantry. It's free. But my first legitimate job that I really had was paperboy. And I would basically work 40-ish hours a month, and I would make about $400 a month. Now do some math with me. If I'm taking home $400 for working an hour a day, 40 hours a month, how much money am I making? I'm making $10 an hour. And by the way, for a kid in junior high, you know, 7th, 8th grade, $10 an hour was cool. Then when I was in college, I did a telemarketing job and I was making $12 an hour. Then when I was later in college and I learned how to make more money, I actually said, you know what? I don't want you to pay me per hour. I want you to pay me on commission. And at first it was hard and it sucked because I didn't know how to make money on commission. So actually my income dropped. But I paid my dues and I figured it out and I realized, whoa, when I'm paid on commission, I can make a lot more money per hour. Well, eventually I quit that job. I became financially free because I did all this real estate. Look at how real estate changed the game for me. I want you to actually get this. When I bought my very first house, I had a mortgage, and that mortgage was for around $800 a month. I was renting my basement for $500 a month. That meant that for me to have the entire upstairs of a 3-bedroom, 1-bath by renting out the basement's 1-bedroom, 1-bath, it was really only costing me $300. Now the place I was renting before was only a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and I was paying $400 a month. So I upgraded to a 3-bedroom, but by the way, I was renting out the basement, it lowered my monthly. Then I refinanced my mortgage down to $500 a month, and that meant that essentially I was living for free. Now, by the way, living for free reduced my expenses. This was a really cool thing. And I learned when I bought my next house and it was paying me a multi-$100 a month cash flow, that my money was now working for me. What it meant was I was making more money without earning. Every time I bought another house, it added. So let me show you what the math looks like. I'm just gonna draw this up here. I bought this house and it was paying me $500 a month. And then I bought this house and it was paying me $300 a month. And I bought this house and it was paying me $600 a month. And I bought this house and it was paying me $250 a month. And I bought this house and it was paying me $700 a month. And I bought this house and it was paying me $500 a month. And I bought this house and it was paying me $400 a month. Okay, this is the story of my life. You see these 6 houses right here, add them up. 500 plus 300, so 800, 1,400, 1,650, plus 700 is 2,350, plus 5 is 28. Basically $3,000 a month is what these houses are kicking off. Now, these are not exact numbers. These are just the range of cash flows that I saw in my homes. And I bought 25 of them, so my cash flow just kept getting to the point where, but here's what was cool. Even with just these homes, at my job, I was making about $3,000 a month. My real estate, however, was paying me $3,000 a month. So I'm making $6,000 a month. And it's like, man, it's like I cloned myself. There's 2 Kris Krohns. Do you know how cool that is? It's like this Kris Krohn will go to work and make $3,000 a month. This Kris Krohn is going to sit on his butt and do nothing and make $3,000 a month. It meant that I was basically increasing my income hours. Now, after I retired, something cool happened. I became a business owner. This is part of what I really want you to get in this video here. And at the end of this, I have another video that I want you to watch, which is going to show you how I actually got to $12,000 a month in 4.5 years. Because it was cool, and you can do it too. But what I decided was, if I go into business for myself, I can make more money than I can working for somebody else. Because guess what? When someone hires you, it's because there's an ROI, a return on investment that they want to get on you. For most businesses, it is a 4x return. Here's what this basically means. It means, hey, Kris, if we're paying you, let's just say $50,000 a year, then we as a company should be able to make $200,000 a year, 4x. So we'll give you a quarter of it, we'll keep the rest. This is the way a lot of successful companies run and operate and think. So I thought to myself, well, if I possess these skills and if I were in business for myself, why don't I get the 4x return on my own skills? And essentially, the problem with that thinking is that there's a lot more to business than most of you know jumping in. But once you figure those things out, you can not only get a 4x, you can hire other people and get a 4x on them. You can get a 10x, you can get a 100x. And here's what basically started happening. The universal math, this is what I wanted to share with you. The universal math for you to basically figure out how you're financially growing in life comes down to this equation. How much are you earning per hour? When we become entrepreneurs, we stop tracking that. You should not stop tracking that. You should know how your value is received in the world. Is your value received at $10 an hour? Then your goal should be simple. I need to figure out right now in the next 30 days how to get this to $12 an hour. And then I need to figure out how do I actually get that to $20 an hour. Now, I remember when I got to the point where I was making $100 an hour, I became thrilled. And then I'm like, wait, I met this one lawyer who was making $600 an hour. That's what he was billing me. And I'm like, I want to know how to make $600 an hour. So I remember the first time I started making $1,000 an hour. And then I remember when I started making $2,000 an hour. And this is the funny caveat. I was going to go play video games with some of my buddies, and I'd gotten in my car, and they're like, hey, Kris, come over right now, but you got to bring the pizza. So I called my personal assistant, and I said, you get the pizza. When I got there and the pizza had arrived, they're like, Kris, you didn't bring the pizza. You got your personal assistant to get the pizza? And I'm like, bro, I know my value. I know my standards. I'm not doing $10 an hour work as a $2,000 an hour person. I'm working on becoming a $4,000 or a $10,000 or a $50,000. Like, I have some businesses now where I'm making tens of thousands of dollars per hour because I've been playing the game, and the game is really simple. How do I level up my approach in the way that I'm really doing this? So there's a couple things that I want you to learn from this. The first thing that I want you to learn is that, number one, you should not do things below your worth. For example, if you're currently earning $50 an hour, then I want you to develop a standard that says, I only do things that are worth $50 an hour on up. It's going to drastically change your schedule because all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh, there's a lot of things that I was doing before and I'm no longer trading my time for them. I have to find a different way to trade my time. So people are like, Kris, why do you have masseuses come over to your house to give you a massage? Or why do you send someone else to go wash your car, get gas? Why do you have people running these assistants for you? Why do you have people booking your plane tickets? Why do you have people doing this stuff for you? You can do it yourself. And you're like, I could, but it violates my standards. The moment you tolerate doing activities that are below your hourly wage, what you do is you build a comfort zone around this amount of money and say, this is what I'm worth. The reality is that you're precious and priceless and you have infinite worth. In God's eyes, we're all that way. But from a financial, worldly point of view, if you're doing $50 an hour work and you want to double your income, you've got to look for work that will pay you how much an hour? $100 an hour. It means you got to raise your standards. So when someone asks you to do a project where you're going to earn a whole lot less money, and you're like, oh, it's okay. It's like one of my mentors, I paid $1 million to this mentor, and he would laugh at me. Why are you making your own PowerPoints? It's like $15 an hour work. And I said, because I like it, because I enjoy it, because no one will do it as well as me. That was all my hallucination. And all it did was keep me from earning more. I remember when I finally, years later, listened to him, and I basically said, I am no longer doing a single activity that is worth less than my going rate. That's when all of a sudden I started saying no to a lot of things, and I was like freaking out. I'm gonna make a lot less money. I'm saying no to a lot of things because I'm saying no to this $10 an hour thing, and I'm saying no to this $30 an hour thing, and I'm saying no to this $40,000 because I'm at $50 an hour. But you know what? Nature abhors a vacuum. And what that means is that if you start saying no and take it all away, then the only thing you can start saying yes to is what? Everything that is at your goal that you're willing to say yes to. Do you know what that's called? That's called raising your standard. You want to make more money, you've got to learn how to raise your standard. Most people that don't earn well enough, it's because we get what we tolerate. And a lot of us are tolerating stuff that we shouldn't, and as a result, we keep getting it. We might complain about it, we might whine about it, we might say and claim we want something more, but you can't get more because you're actually doing the thing that you don't want. That is having low standards. So this conversation about how do you make more with less time, it is one of my favorite conversations because right now I'm on a journey to figure out how to make $1 million an hour. And I know that I'm going to figure it out. I'm on my way. I know because in some of my businesses, I am making tens of thousands of dollars an hour. It's just a few more quick jumps and I'll figure out the rest. When I raise my standards, the opportunities shift and change in my world. Do you understand this principle? Is that in the beginning, we all got to say yes so that we can deal with the chaos of abundance. But when you say yes and everything's full, you got to then learn how to responsibly say no to create the vacuum. And a vacuum will only present opportunities that you're willing to say yes to. And guess what? You now perceive opportunities that are going to take you to that next level. Friends, this is literally how I continue to do it. It's how I've been doing it. It's how I'm doing it today. And here's what it really means. It means that one of my current standards that I've also raised is that I don't do any work before noon. You could try and reaching out to me. You could be trying emailing me. You could try calling me. But guess what? You're not going to hear anything from me. It's going to be total silence because I have a standard. That time is for my kids. That time is for me. It's for personal reflection. It's for prayer. It's for meditation. It's for taekwondo. It's for working out. It's for relaxing. It's for sitting in the hot tub. It's for taking a nap. It's for sleeping in. It's for that. It's not for work. But when I work, I'll tell you right now, I know what I'm doing. I know my value. I know when to say yes. I know when to say no. And because I have standards and I've raised my standards, I get more. So the beautiful thing is I'm creating now more opportunities for other people. And because I'm saying yes to the right opportunities, I'm getting more of what I really want, which means a lot more time freedom, but it also means a lot more money. When you have both of those, life really goes to the next level. Listen, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've created a video for you that is all about how I leveraged my time and made $1.6 million in a very small period of time because I actually took what I just trained you here and I'll show you how I implement it. The video that pops up right over here, I want you to go ahead and click on it. It's actually going to show you how to do that. Down below, you have all sorts of opportunities, things like my book that you can get for free that will also show you in written form how I did it. You just cover the shipping on it. I'll send it out to you at no cost. And if you're not a subscriber, make sure that you do something about that. This channel is dedicated to me helping you develop wealth and living a happier, more full life. My name is Kris Krohn, dedicated to your greatness and having it all. Watch that video. Catch you there.